Jeff, today we are going to be taking an impression of your right hand so that we can make a point digit prosthesis for you. So we got a couple of things here on the table that we're going to need to work with. We got Vaseline, this is really important. And then we've got our silicone material here. So we've got our promoter. And then we have our two pots of silicone here. So I'm going to use 2 tongue depressors per pot of silicone here. If you just use one, they will break. So you're going to want to stir it up, get it all mixed nice and even. These pots of silicone just came out of the freezer. They've been in there for over 8 hours, so they're nice and cold. So we got our 2 bottles of promoter, 1 for each. If you've only had this in the refrigerator, you want to use even less of the promoter. We're going to take a little bit of Vaseline and we're going to just brush this on. You want to go in the direction that the hairs are laying on his arm, so that they lay down. Pour in a little bit of my promoter. You can see I've only put in maybe a little bit more than half of the bottle there. And at this point, you can begin to just pour it over the hand. You want to get each of the remaining fingers as best as possible. And so your job, Jeff, too, is to just kind of keep your hand as relaxed as you can through this process. We want to capture the hand in somewhat of a neutral position. We don't want them to be forcing their fingers out fully extended. At the same time, we don't want them to be pre-flexed. So you can use your 2 tongue depressors to be able to scrape and lay sheets onto their hand. Go ahead and flip over, please. Now Jeff's kind of starting to let his thumb creep into the middle. We want to let his thumb stay out just a little bit. So this first layer, you're really focusing on just making sure you get coverage everywhere. If you're really trying, oh, I need right over here. Okay, once it starts to get into this point where it's not dripping too much, you can ask your patient to take their hand. Just relax it down to your side, Jeff. Just keep it away from your clothing. And just keep those fingers in a relaxed but extended position. To get the impression off of the hand, it's best to come to a sink where we're going to use some room temperature water. The first thing you want to do is take your finger and go around the top portion and get that loosened up so that you can get water down in. Now it may be that you end up starting to get a split in your silicone, and that's quite all right, especially for a hand that's larger like Jeff's. So once you get some water in there, then you can start to slowly extract their hand like so.